Cool.
Hey, so welcome back to one of our cask updates. So today we have our Still in Cask update with Nc'nean. So I'm Danny from Still in Cask. We have Liam, also part of the Still in Cask team, and then we are joined today by Matt from Nc'nean, who is going to talk us through what is in this bottle and how the cask is getting along. Hey Matt, how you doing?
Very good, thank you very much. How are you doing?
Yeah, all is well.
I'm really looking forward to this one. Well, I look forward to all of them actually, but I am looking forward to this one. So
me too. Because we drew this sample
a while ago.
August? Yeah, so it's been sat in my desk waiting to go.
Yeah, it's been.
Danny had the misfortune of moving vast continents away, so we've.
Yeah, I had to take this dram to New Zealand with me, and it sat in my isolation hotel staring at me. I couldn't even drink it. It was torment.
2 weeks. It lasted 2 weeks.
This has survived a lot of thirsty nights.
I'm getting it in the glass.
Cool. So what do you want to know about this liquid? Should we do what the build up, the spirit and
so obviously for those of you that don't know the Still in Cask cask that we're tasting, this is the Nc'nean organic cask that we've had listed on the site. It's sold out now, so we give these cask updates for those people that have shares in the barrel that are ready to experience their whiskey in a few years' time. We provide these updates to let them know how the flavour's growing. But yeah, if you can tell us a bit more about sort of how this liquid came to be, Matt, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, of course. So this is a first fill bourbon barrel, number 267 from 2021. So it's the 267th cask we made this year. It is what we refer to at the distillery as young recipe. So we operate a few different spirit recipes throughout the year, depending on sort of seasonality, and we do a big block of just experimentation. But 80% of what we produce is called young recipe, and it's the spirit that goes into the main whiskey that we release as Nc'nean, and it's the core kind of flavor profile of the distillery. So the big difference is for us versus a traditional single malt Scotch whisky distiller. One, we run a hyper clear wort, so the sweet liquid that comes off of our mash tun, we recirculate over the husks in the mash tun over and over again until it is as clear as possible before we move to the washbacks. This gives yeast more room to work, basically. And then from there, we use 2 yeast strains rather than 1. So the industry standard is to use 1 yeast. At most distilleries, it's the same yeast as well. The M by United Distillers, now Diageo. It's a very efficient, traditional Scotch flavour yeast. It's not what we use. So we use a combination of, we refer to them as Anchor and Fermentus. I'm sure they've got technical names, but there's not a chance in hell I can remember what they are. But Anchor is our version of a high yield. So it's more alcohol, more traditional Scotch flavours. Fermentus traditionally is a wine yeast. And that produces more, ultimately it's mid-chain esters and long-chain esters. So the mid-chain esters are all your juicy fruits, your peaches, your apricots, your pears, and then your long-chain esters are fats, they're oils. A bottle of olive oil is a bottle of long-chain fatty acid esters, and our spirit has very, very high levels of them, relatively speaking. Not as high as a bottle of olive oil, obviously, but high.
And where did these strains come from? Did you isolate them yourselves?
No, we didn't isolate them ourselves. No, we have the 2 yeast suppliers. So the names that we refer to them are the yeast suppliers. It's
I see.
Is the company, Fermentus is the company.
Got it.
It's kind of it's a Jim Swan legacy technique. So Jim Swan was our original consulting distiller. He's the man that set up the Cotswolds Distillery in the Cotswolds, Cavalan in Taiwan, Kilchoman on Islay, Allendale, Milk and Honey, like a big selection of young, good single malt distilleries. A lot of the things that we follow at Nc'nean are following his techniques to create very good, complicated and rich spirit at a young age. Yeah. So having the hyperclear wort with the 2 yeast strains, coupled with very, very long fermentation times as well, generates all the juicy fruits that we want. The industry standard fermentation time is sort of 50-55 hours. We run 2 at 68 hours and 3 at 114, which is exceptionally long for Scotland. It's not the longest in the industry, in the spirits industry by a mile, but it is a very long time for developing those secondary metabolites, which are all those interesting flavors, all those heavy esters, mid-chain esters, and all the fun.
Yeah.
The other the sort of legacy thing from Jim Swan that we use is a cask variety. Unfortunately, it's not this cask variety, but he developed the STR cask, which is gaining more traction and popularity now. So yeah, shaved, toasted, and recharred.
Yeah.
You take 5 to 7 year old Spanish and Portuguese red wine casks, shave 2 millimeters off the inside, and then toast and rechar them. And the process not only gives you a new layer of oak for maturation, so you get a lot of movement off of the new layer of oak. It also caramelizes any of the residual wine sugars that are left in the oak staves, and then they fall into solution very, very easily. So you get a lot of movement off of STR casks in a very short period of time. Well, I can hand pick an example in front of me because I've just been blending batch 12. So you can see this one here is a first fill bourbon that is about 3.5 years old, and that is an STR that is also about 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
While color isn't everything, like that is a big shift of everything in a very short period of time. But what we have, so this is a 4-month-old, nearly 4-month-old sample of that first fill bourbon cask. Nose-wise, it's got that, it's a new make nose that I pick up a lot. It's sort of a quality indicator for me of what I think is good new make spirit. And it smells like the shells of Smarties. Like it's got this dusty cornstarch, milk chocolate kind of thing. And I found that in a lot of new make that I've enjoyed. I think we get a good chunk of that. It's also quite citrusy.
Describe it again?
Like the shells of Smarties.
The shells of Smarties.
Yeah, it's a very pretentious tasting.
Yeah, you're as bad as Danny. He picked something ultra niche and obscure to describe everything.
That's a very good shout, though.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Smartie shells are supposed to smell like.
Oh, just go grab a bag.
Yeah, so and take all the shells off and just smell those individually. Yeah,
it's very important. You have to get like a little melon baller and. But yeah, it's got that kind of dusty milk chocolatey vibe. It's got a lot of citrus. We get big levels of like lemon and grapefruit. And then
there's certainly some sort of masked tropical notes sort of jumping out. It's leaning in towards some sort of sugarcane or agave distillate notes. You get some real interesting fruit esters bouncing out of it.
Yeah, it's a very ester rich spirit that we produce. I also think this is starting to get a little bit of coconut, which is obviously going to be from that bourbon cask, which is that's a nice tasting note. But yeah, should we dig in?
I'm diving in.
Sanjavan? Cool. That's
pineapple.
The first spirit I've had today. That's quite high ABV.
I think I feel it's 9:22 in the morning.
Yeah. So yeah, that's probably sitting at about 63%. We cask at 63.3.
Yeah.
So that's big. But yeah, pineapple, kind of almost like a cola cube kind of thing. Like it's very sweet shop vibe.
Yeah, sweet shop pineapple cubes.
But the big thing for me is just that texture because we have such high levels of those fatty acid esters. It's like glossy. It's silky. It sticks to your tongue. So it's even though we make quite a light style for a single malt, we get an exceptionally long finish. And it's because there's physical oils stuck to your tongue that are making flavor last much longer than they should do. Yeah.
Yeah, it is oily and sweet and like really fun complexities. It's for something that young, it's got so much sort of weird and wonderful flavors going on. It almost feels like it's ready to unlock loads of interesting different characters. And I don't even know if it has to guess which direction it would go in time.
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? Which way that's going to go.
It's very vibrant, and I've not often tasted single malt scotch at 4 months old and enjoyed the experience. So that's a good start.
Well, the test of a good whiskey, as we all know, is banging new make. Because at the end of the day, wood has an incredible effect on spirit, but it's never going to turn a terrible spirit into an amazing spirit. Whereas if you can start with an amazing new make, and this has got so much character and so much body, but without being sort of unpleasant. It doesn't have any of those sort of nasty, overworked notes. It's stonking on its own. I can certainly see that. And bartenders for years have always wanted to get their hands on new make and white dog and start making cocktails with them. And I think that'd make, even on its own as it is at this age, it makes some really, really interesting drinks.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. It's It's exactly what I expect. It's very, very fruity. It's very, very oily. It's very, very bright. It's very clean. And that's relatively promising. There's also there's a small amount of acidity there, which I think will be very beneficial moving forward, because obviously all those acids are just going to turn into more funky, fun things. So in 4.5 years' time, when we actually get to taste this properly, it could be incredible.
I've had some water, and it's
just opened up.
Yeah, it's just even more delightful as you drop the ABV a bit.
I think you're almost peeling back those shells on those Smarties now as you walk down those chocolate notes bounce out more. You get more milk chocolate bouncing out.
Yeah. There's something's annoying me. I can't work out the colour of the Smartie shell.
But we're organic, so it's probably not the blue one.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. There's a lot more on the back end of the chocolate now. That sugar, the sweet note has dropped off for me slightly. I still get the fruit note, but there's a little bit less sweetness attacking, and it's coming through with some really interesting dry spice notes towards the finish and sort of floral notes. I've almost got a tiny bit of sort of pepper or anise somewhere towards the back. It's got loads of complexity.
Yeah, we do. Well, in our official tasting notes for the core expression, we do pick these spice flavors that I normally associate with the STR casks, but they are present sort of across the board in our distillate, where the official tasting notes say lemon posset, stone fruit, caraway rye bread, and it's that caraway rye bread at the end where the STRs add this bready warmth, and the spice that is there is very top note. So I say caraway, some people say anise or menthol or eucalyptus. It's a very green, bright kind of spice, and yeah, that's got a bit of that, almost like a Thai basil kind of thing.
Yeah, interesting.
And where do you think that comes from? Where do you think that spice note comes from?
Well, in this case, I would assume that just I can't imagine a first fill barrel as
it's going to have
that kind of green flavour to it,
punch in it. Yeah,
yeah.
Sometimes you can get a kind of a clove flavour from oak, can't you?
Yes, definitely. That's one of the things we look up for it.
Yeah.
In general,
I don't know if I'd call it that kind of clove note in your core range or not. I don't think so.
The flavour compound I'm thinking of, you get it from specifically American oak, and it's beta damascenone, which is it's rose petal flavour, but when it's in a whiskey kind of environment, it can come across relatively floral, but more often than not, it's the tasting note you pick up in bourbon that tastes like apple pie. Which, that bright spice.
Yeah, and it's surprising how much it changed with the addition of water when it's so young. It's really bringing a whole different sort of dimension to it.
I'm gonna have to pour some more and get some water.
Oh, I finished mine.
Sorry, you guys only got wee samples as well.
Yeah,
I've got a big one over here.
20 mils. A shot.
I got like a 100 ml bottle sent to me, and they were the only mini bottles I'd had. I'd done a Dusty's tasting relatively recently, so you can thank Dan next time you see him for the bottles. Let's have some water. I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah. It's fascinating how that's opened up. I'm thoroughly looking forward to watching this mature.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this back when we do our next tasting, and then we'll compare and contrast next year and see how it's changing, because I think it is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, definitely.
Because at 4 months, it's taken a decent leap away from your new make in those 4 months.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a bit more sweetness, and it's a bit more it's made the body feel a bit rounder. Like our new make does have that texture, but it's not as incorporated as it is in this. Just gonna try this with water now.
Yeah, as I diluted it even more, it's softened even more, and there's some of the savoury notes are coming back through in the mid palate. There's a really nice, almost a savoury coconut. Like coconut flesh. Yeah, super tasty.
Yeah, it's getting like a little bit greener with water. That's cool. Cool. This is very exciting.
Yeah, I personally bought 3 cask shares of it, so I'm looking forward to watching the updates and getting mine as they become available. I said it, and do you know what? Nc'nean was the first cask to sell out completely on Stilling Cask. So
amazing.
Really great.
I'm very happy I bought my share.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about Nc'nean and what people out there are thinking of it.
And what they're doing.
So quickly, and for all of you lucky people out there that have a cask share in this, we'll check the bottling date. Click on my cask share.
Is it 26?
I think
that we're doing it, like mid 26.
Bottling June 2026. This was casked in May 2021. Bottling in June 2026. So yeah, that's when around then is when you'll receive your cask share. Obviously, we allow all of our distillers a few months leeway either side to keep an eye on that spirit and see how it's maturing and make sure it's bottled.
Yeah, make sure it's bottled at the optimum point
at its best. But yeah, that's when we will receive these, and hopefully Matt will be able to join us for some more cask updates over the years, and we can watch this bad boy grow and develop over time.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic.
Looking forward to
it. It's a very fun little project. I'm really happy that we've been involved with Cask Share. It's a really nice way of getting more people directly involved in the actual process of whiskey making, because general consumers don't get to see the hard work that leads up to a release. They just see the shiny bottle and they drink it and enjoy it, and that's fantastic. But there's such a depth of information and just fun to be had in
along the way,
diving into warehouses.
Have you got any predictions over the next 12 months? What's going to develop and change?
Well, I can only base it off of sort of what we taste normally, and the cask samples that I pick up are only ever 3 years plus. We normally taste our whiskey sort of between 3 years and 2 months and 3 years and 10 months. We're starting to get a bit more 4-year-old stock every now and again now, but we're trying to spread it a little bit. I tend to find that our bourbon casks come up very, very juicy fruits and very citrusy, and they're very bright. So I can't imagine that the brightness is going to change too much, but I think the flavors behind that are going to become more defined. So rather than us saying it's citrus and it's juicy fruits, it tends to turn into, oh, this is definitely like apricot jam, or this is like fresh peaches, or this is like grapefruit oleo or whatever. Like I think you get a bit more definition as it's spent a bit more time in cask, because everything's mellowed and settled, and it's easier to pick out. So I imagine this cask is just going to keep being very bright and very fruity and very creamy, and we'll just come up with even more pretentious tasting notes that fit.
Good. Yeah.
Those gaps.
So far we've got a Smartie shell filled with young coconut flesh, and I think if that develops floral notes and develops, I found some really interesting sort of piney notes in the back end of some of the Nc'nean release stock, and it'd be interesting to see some of that from the natural environment come through as well. But it's an exceptional liquid, and you should be really pleased with it. And I'm really pleased that I've got some to look forward to.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this being bottled and out in the world. I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see if we pick up any more like salinity as we go along, because we've been told, and I find it to an extent, that we've got quite a salinous dram, and we are on the west coast. We are sat on a sea breeze, just the Isle of Mull sort of breaking the Atlantic for us. So it'll be interesting to see if that sort of comes along. I don't tend to taste casks year on year moving forward, so it'll be interesting to see if that sort of develops as we move into older stock.
Something to look out for next year, right?
Yeah, and we'll look out for salt. We'll look out for more freshness and identifying those juicy fruits. But yeah, so that has been your cask update from your Nc'nean cask. It'll show you how your cask has evolved in those first 4 months, and we'll be back in a year's time with Matt to revisit, taste some more of this cask and see how it's developed, so that you can come along the journey and enjoy your cask share experience. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and thanks Matt, thanks Liam.
Thank you, Matt.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Danny.
I've finished my dram.
Mine was gone a long time ago.
I finished both of mine.
Cool.
Cheers.